It's not just by Salafi, it's by a lot more. Yeah? तो ये नहीं कि सिर्फ सलफी इसको expose कर रहे हैं. Look, this is, it was him before Medina, and this is him in Yale. Whoever calls him a scholar is a jahil, is a jahil, is a ahl al-bidah jahil. जो इसको scholar कहता है वो jahil ahl al-bidah है, ahl sunnah नहीं. Whoever calls him a scholar is not ahl sunnah, they're ahl al-bidah. Let's go, let's have some fun. Yeah, whoever thinks of these people as scholars is a jahil. जो भी उनको scholar समझता है वो jahil.
I'm being honest with you. You're all طلاب العلم and studied Islamic sciences. Wallahi, I'll be honest with you. The shubuhat that I was exposed to at Yale, some of them I still don't have answers to.
So in Yale he got brainwashed.
But with my utmost respect,
or was he already like this?
These creeds that we are wed to also.
Let's see.
I'm being honest with you. You're all طلاب العلم and studied Islamic sciences. Wallahi, I'll be honest with you. The shubuhat that I was exposed to at Yale, some of them I still don't have answers for.
Acha. So at Yale, he got brainwashed.
Respect, I believe that these creeds that we are wed to,
no cursing,
also have elements of human products in them. But frankly, the Sunni theological schools are very much akin.
Yeah. So he's Shia now.
Legal schools. And we need to.
So the IKHWANIs are a stepping stone between Shia and Sunni.
Get at the truth. And you see the development of theology.
I mean, Aqidah in general, the way it's taught in study in different schools of thought, it's taught as something black and white, something.
And every school teaches this, and every school is
no
incorrect
cursing
in this regard.
Don't curse anybody.
Because Aqidah is a development, and you see for yourself that there is.
But we will see before and after.
Development. Really, this shows you that the guy is ignorant of what Aqidah is.
One second. One second, I'm not gonna curse. Today you see your brother like this. If you ever see me like him now, Yale, run for your life. The person that goes from this beard to this, you call them a scholar, run for your life. Run for your life. This and today and tomorrow, look, he was like this. You know what is he like now? Run for your life. Run.
He doesn't know what Aqidah is.
Run.
Wallahi, when you study Aqidah, this is the only way you will save yourself from the fire of hell.
He's speaking the truth now. Because he was in Medina.
Increase in your love of Allah. The Salaf of the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, and the Tabi'een.
Oh wow, beautiful.
These three generations were perfect in their Aqidah. They had no difference between them.
No cursing.
Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari and all of these Mu'tazilah, they came after the time of the Sahaba, and some of them existed at the later generations of the Sahaba, but none of the Sahaba were.
He even knows this. So revelation was the reason.
It's not surprising that our medieval scholars believe this type of stuff.
Yo, what happened, homie? What happened? I'm not even gonna curse. I'm not even gonna say anything. I feel like just crying. My heart, it just bleeds. You call him a scholar because you are worse than him. You're more jahil than him if you call him a scholar. Wallahi, it's just facts. If you call him a scholar, this is him now. Not the one in Medina. Medina, he was okay, a little better. He had some knowledge when he was in Medina, big beard. Then this, he got liberalized. So whoever calls him a scholar now is Ahl al-Bidah, is Shaitan, is following the biggest Ahl al-Bidah Shaitan in the West, USA now. He's the P. Diddy of Islam. Wake up. Stop.
Obviously,
you guys are making me laugh and cry at the same time.
I say anybody who knows
who takes him now as a scholar?
Civilization.
Or as a, I mean a speaker.
Cannot believe that there is a tribe for 4,000 years trapped behind a wall. I mean, if you believe this, that's your position.
I'm alive.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I'm just being. I find this very difficult to believe. They're in some place separated from mankind. So if somebody were to say, how can we believe these ahadith when Google Earth has mapped the whole world? We can zoom in and see everything around us.
So before he was different.
There is no massive land hidden from mankind.
So he got slowly brainwashed.
Wallahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allahu a'lam.
That's good response.
If we believe in the ahadith, this is what the ahadith tell us.
Good, thank
this
you.
is what the ahadith tell us. And there's a simple rule that Ibn Taymiyyah mentions. Memorize
Ibn Taymiyyah? Oui, you
the
know Ibn
Quran and
Taymiyyah.
Sunnah does not bring the impossible, but it does bring that which astounds the mind.
Of course.
Is it impossible that somewhere underground Allah has thousands of people living? It's not impossible.
I'm not going to do nothing. He's going to refute himself, not me.
The issue of the Mawlid, for
slowly,
example.
be it.
Yani
Okay, we'll come to Mawlid in 3 minutes.
Frank. It's a very
We'll come to
beautiful
3-minute
fatwa.
marker. You tell me which one you want. First choose which one. Because they both are not correct. One of them is correct, one of them is wrong. So you tell me Medina graduate is right or Yale is right. So if you follow him now, you are just, I don't know what to say. Shaitan can fool you this easily? That is right in front of your eyes, but you cannot see it? Something is wrong. This means that whoever's following him either is a fool, low intellect, or deliberately following these people. Deliberately following these people. And that's bad. And then passing it down to family. Astaghfirullah, intermixing, gathering, bringing your women to intermixed gathering.
Look, in a technical sense, of course it's a bid'ah. He says this, Ibn Hajar.
Of course it's a bid'ah.
Technical sense, it's a bid'ah. The Prophet didn't do it. The Sahaba
Good,
didn't do
the
it.
end.
But
no, there's no but. There's no but. Bro, it's not about thinking. You have to be certain. We follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's no, I think. We follow. We say, Qala Allah, Qala Rasulullah, Ati Allah, Ati Rasul. Allah commands you to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But these jahils, you'll see their reality today. So the ummah can be used to these clowns and not look up to them. Because if you guys look up to these fools, then how about the real scholars?
Recite the fadail of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So now he's just spreading his bid'ah. It's no bid'ah hasana. So this is what they teach their people.
On that day,
that it's a good bid'ah. Because of these people, they're getting this good bid'ah concept. So there is no good bid'ah. Because if it was good bid'ah, Sahaba would have done it. Good. The companions would have done it. And now it's his refutation himself.
600 years after the death of bid'ah hasana. What's wrong with that?
There's no bid'ah hasana. So he got paid to spread bid'ah in Islam.
After the death of the Prophet,
he's refuting himself.
Nobody in the entire Muslim lands, Islam Muslim, we're not
good
talking
man.
Christians with Christmas. Muslims are not celebrating the birthday of the Prophet. Why?
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Good. No Bukhari, no Muslim.
The concept was not even in their heads.
Good man.
Very famous, called Ibn
Very
Hajar.
intellect.
Ibn Hajar
And who's more intellect? The one that shows his reality without cursing, without even using any scholar, without even using any ustad. We're still going to show you his reality from his mouth, not from our mouth. So you wake up and decide which homie you want. If you choose him now, then you are a jahil. And if you choose him before and you don't show his reality now and stay away from him, then you're still a jahil. So which one you want? Which YASIR QADHI? Cannot defeat us. This is intellectual warfare, homie.
He said, this is
2024.
The Prophet never did it. But there's
good man
as well, because people come together and they mention Allah and the Prophet and they just talk about the seerah, etc., etc. So others opposed and they said, no, there can't be any such thing as a good bid'ah. And some scholars say that this act, the thought of it came from celebrating Christmas.
Yes.
That when the Christians show respect to Jesus Christ, then these guys thought that they could do better.
He got liberalized now.
To
his beard went slowly down.
No, if you really loved the Prophet ﷺ, your lifestyle would be in accordance with his. That's how you would love the Prophet. I just have a simple question. Can you outdo
Abu Bakr,
the companions
Umar,
in your love for the
Uthman,
Prophet ﷺ?
Ali,
Can you do better than Abu Bakr and
radiallahu
Umar?
anhu?
No way.
No way.
Well then, why don't you just stick with this?
Abu Bakr
Stick
and
with
Umar.
how Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali radiallahu anhum, how Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, how they did it. And you know how they did it? They followed the sunnah of the.
And we are speaking exactly like him when he was before Yale and liberalized. And we are the issue? No. The issue is this.
There are many ulama who do not think so, and there are great ulama. And if a person is following a great alim,
we don't care.
What can you say? Imam al-Nawawi said it.
We don't care. Right? Even if Abu Bakr and Umar said something, we don't care. If it's bid'ah, it's bid'ah.
There is no innovation which is a good innovation. Some of the scholars, they try to categorize innovations into good or bad. But the Prophet ﷺ himself
speak the truth. Get spanked up, homie. I'll spank all your homies up.
Is a bid'ah, and every bid'ah leads to the fire.
Good man. Educate these jahils.
Innovation is
Gino and white man.
Incomplete. You have to add something. In the end of the day, Allah Azza wa Jal will reward and punish people based upon their niyyah.
No.
The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah has refused to accept the deeds of any person who does innovation until he leaves it.
And repents.
His actions will not be accepted from
good
him
man.
Until he leaves that innovation. You might have a good intention, realize. You might think that what you're doing is good, but your intentions don't count here. Your actions speak louder than your words. by adding something to Islam, by claiming that, oh, this is a good act, even though it's not in the Quran and Sunnah, you are claiming that you know better than Allah and His Messenger.
Oh, you're claiming
that
to
they
better.
left something out of the religion. That you came along 1,000 whatever years later and discovered something that they didn't know. So this is the implications of a person who innovates. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ, in the most severest of terms, has cursed and warned against those who innovate.
Oh, very good, man. It should be Salafis.
And in my humble opinion,
In my humble opinion. Your humble opinion don't matter. Many positives. Ooh.
And of those positives is the purity of its creed, the privacy
Purity of
the
creed.
text.
Guys, we have purity of creed from our enemy, who was supposedly one of us. Said everything true before, and now we went to Yale. He went to Yale, he felt some shubuhat. I don't know where he felt them, the front or the back or the mind or the heart. Wherever he felt those shubuhat, and Yale, Yale.
The encouragement of critical thinking, the avoidance of superstitious, if you like.
Yeah, we don't act superstitious, brother. Oh my God, a black man just walked, a black cat just crossed. There's a ladder and you're walking behind. What? Shirk and superstition. Saints. Emphasis of hadith.
Emphasis overall on knowledge. All of these are great aspects of Salafism. But Salafism also has some negatives as well. And that is, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest
Are you good now?
that it has taken issues of theology, abstract issues
Ya
of
Akhi Kareem,
theology,
Mr. World, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it better? But I can't because it's only this much. Thank you, brother. No problem.
Is the issue of a part of Iman in Allah is to understand Allah's names and Allah's attributes. It is essential to also talk about, well, how do we know anything about Allah?
From the
Our
Salaf
only
Salihin
source of information regarding Allah is how Allah has described Himself in the Quran and in the Sunnah.
And
to turn back to the way of the early scholars, the early generations. They were the only who really and truly understood the names of Allah properly, as these narrations show you. And then after them came many groups who deviated from the path. So if we wish to attain success, we need to turn back to them and understand the way they understood it.
The companions.
And Salafis need to realize, let me be very blunt here, that if Umar ibn al-Khattab was right now, and they gave him a quiz of Aqidah,
Slander our Imam.
the fact of the matter is, that test that you put in front of him, he would fail it.
I think he became Shia now.
This hadith is extremely powerful about the
I think he
status of
became
the
Shia
Sahaba, and it's an explicit hadith, do not speak ill of my companions. And this shows us, therefore, we keep our mouths pure. Our tongues are absolutely clean. When it comes to speaking about the Sahaba, we either say good or we remain quiet. But no Muslim will ever say anything, or no true Muslim will say anything about the companions. Wallahi, Allah is million. I can't even put a number better than me and you. We know this. And yet, the Yawandi, Salafi, Ash'ari, anybody were to quiz him a first-year exam from Darul Ulum, from Medina, from Azhar, from any institution, he would fail in every single subject.
He will fail every single subject. So what do you think happens? Someone decides to be Shia one day and switch Sunni, and you will see drastic changes? No, there's the in-between sects. There's stepping stones. Wake up, man. IKHWANIYA, Ikhwan al-Muslimin, liberalism, IKNA, ISNA, Mass,
there would be some type
Islamic
of
Circle,
wahy,
North America.
They were not Anbiya.
North America gives them funding.
Inspired by Allah. That the Prophet is saying,
man.
If there is
Look at their masjid. Look at his masjid. It looks like a mansion, luxury. Look at our masjids, poor. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. We are the agents of the Jews.
Definitely a blessing that does
La
not
hawla wa
need
la
any
quwwata illa billah.
explanation. The hadith, the famous hadith, all of you know. The best of all generations is my generation. Then those that come after them, then those that come after them. And we explained that this best,
Good man.
This
say hadith.
has to be in all fields, not just in one.
Oh, very good.
Of them is the hadith of a woman coming to the Prophet and she said, I have this issue that I want to do with you. I want to get you from you a fatwa or a religious verdict. So the Prophet said, come back at such a time. She said, what if you are not present? Who should I
go to
go
Abu Bakr.
He said, go to Abu Bakr.
Yeah.
She asked, what if he's not present? He said, go to Umar.
Yeah.
But we can all agree that Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali and all of the other scholars of the
Sahaba,
past,
he Sahaba, Sahaba, he Sahaba, Sahaba, he Sahaba, Sahaba, he Sahaba.
Wahhabist, or
Oh,
what is called
Wahhabist.
Salafist parties.
Oh, Salafist party.
Wahhabist,
Wahhabist. Oh my lord, chill out, you brainwashed monkey.
Wahhabist, or it's also called Salafist parties.
Look at him,
Wahhabist,
suit and
which really
tie.
demonstrates that they are not an insignificant minority. Salafism is a type of Protestant Islam.
Protestant Islam, no,
And
sorry,
that
Orthodox
is why
Islam.
Salafism does not like icons.
Icons.
Which is why certain movements such as
Here you
Al-Qaeda
go.
and ISIS like to
We are not
destroy
with
religious
ISIS, Al-Qaeda.
icons
We
that are
expose them.
figurines as they try to
ISIS,
destroy
Al-Qaeda does it because it's a
statues and
hadith.
whatnot. Okay? Most Wahhabis are very apolitical, very pacifist. Most Wahhabis, you can consider them to be somewhat like maybe the Amish or the
Amish? We're not the Amish. Modernists.
Wahhabism.
What you want about? And we're not Wahhabis.
This group of people with a label.
We are labeling them with a
And
label.
they are telling, as if the other Muslims, oh, you must disassociate yourself from
His
this group of
reputation.
people. And they have chosen this label, they call it Wahhabi, or they call it Salafi. And they say this is what the Wahhabis teach, this is what the Salafis teach. Now, if you
I don't know the
look at
spelling.
what they are
I don't know the
teaching, what
spelling.
they are saying,
It's something like this.
much of
It exposes
is
this.
general to Islam. Okay, some other brother says something about homosexuality. He doesn't like homosexuality.
The Constitution,
Is
shirk.
homosexuality
This is not
said
something
only
of
to this
Muhammad
one
ibn
group
Abdul
of
Wahhab
Islam that
bring
we have
out.
invented Wahhabis?
Then you
No
go
Muslim
here.
calls himself a
After
Wahhabi.
this, you come
Amongst
here.
ourselves,
No
we
one
can
calls himself
discuss and
Wahhabi.
fine-tune in detail,
No
no
one.
problem.
No
But
one.
to take one group and label it with an invented label. This label of Wahhabi is an invented label. This
Invented
label of
label.
Wahhabi
No
is
one
an
says
invented
Wahhabi.
label. And then say, oh, this is all coming from this group. What do you think they're trying to do? They're trying to divide and conquer.
Thank you.
They're trying to cut and break the ummah
Oh, yeah?
and say, okay, this is one group called the Wahhabis. What happens? Those who don't like this label don't call themselves
We don't
this
call
label.
ourselves
Nobody
Wahhabi.
does, but I'm saying the groups
Who's
are
Abdul
general to
Wahhab?
Islam.
Our scholar.
Okay,
So what?
Greens,
Why would we
as they
take his
try to
name?
destroy the-
Are we not Abu Bakri? So why are we not Abu Bakr first? Abu
It's
Bakri.
also called Salafist parties, Wahhabist,
Salafiyah,
Wahhabis,
yes.
which really demonstrates
Means
that
Orthodox
they are
Islam,
not an
pure Islam,
insignificant
yes.
minority.
Sahaba,
Salafism
tabain,
is a type of
tabain.
Protestant Islam.
Orthodox
And
Islam.
that is why Salafism does not like
Orthodox
icons,
Islam.
which is why
Sahaba,
certain
tabain,
movements such as Al-Qaeda
tabain.
and ISIS like to destroy
So supposedly he went to
religious
Medina
icons
to learn,
figurines as they
then
try
to speak
destroy,
bad about it.
statues and whatnot. Okay, most Wahhabis are very apolitical,
Look at
very
this.
pacifist.
Calling
Most
us Wahhabis.
you can consider
Someone
them to
calls
be
me Wahhabi, I'm
somewhat
punching
like
them in the
maybe
face.
Amish or the ultra-Orthodox
I'm not no
Jewish
Wahhabi.
mythology of
I'm Abu
Wahhabism.
Bakri,
Is
Umri,
that they are
Usmani,
labeling
Alawi,
this group of
Hassani,
people with a label.
Husseini.
And
Yeah.
they are telling as if the other Muslims, oh, you must disassociate yourself from
Salaf
this group of
Salihin.
people. And they have chosen
Muawiyah.
this label, they call it
Sahaba.
Wahhabi, or they call it Salafi.
Sahaba, he
And they say,
Sahaba.
this is what the
Salafiyah.
Wahhabis teach,
Alhamdulillah,
this is what the
Ibn
Salafis teach.
Pure
Now,
Islam.
if you look at
Salafiyah.
what they are teaching and what they
Quran,
are saying,
Sunnah.
much of it is something which is general to Islam.
Obviously.
Okay, some other brother says something about homosexuality. He doesn't like
Is that
homosexuality.
just only
Is
pertaining to us?
homosexuality a sin only
Quran
to
wa
this one
Sunnah.
group in Islam
Ati
that they
Allah,
have
Ati
invented
Rasul.
Wahhabis? No Muslim calls himself a Wahhabi. Amongst
No Muslim
ourselves,
does.
we can discuss
Not me,
and fine-tune in
definitely.
detail, no
Nah.
problem. But to take one group and label it,
Nah.
label it with an invented label. This label of Wahhabi is an invented label.
Thank
this
you.
label of Wahhabi
Thank
is an
you.
invented label. And
Good
then say,
man.
oh, this is all coming from this group.
Yeah.
What do you think they're trying to do? They're trying to divide.
On Yomul Qiyamah, videos like this will play. And what you did and what you did now will be played as well. So be careful who you take your deen from, because deen is, if you're taking religion from these people, who are you taking your worldly life from? What are you doing with worldly aspects? Forget that. If you're taking your religion from these sellouts, then what are you doing? Really, man, yeah, wake up. Everybody wake up. At least my 1,300 or 1,300 and plus family and my brothers and my sisters and my loved ones and my mothers and my daughters and whatnot, whatever you guys are, at least all of you family members will stay aware. Best believe. Your brother will not misguide you. He wants for you what he wants for himself. I don't want ISIS, Al-Qaeda for you. I don't want liberalism for you. I don't want Kharijiyya for you. I don't want Brelviya, Deobandiyya for you. I don't want Sufiya, Shia for you. I don't want Takfiriyya for you.
Trying to cut and break the ummah and say, okay, this is one group called the Wahhabis. What happens? Those who don't like this label, don't call themselves this label. Nobody does. But I'm saying the groups that don't even like, for example, the theology of this group, group, they will say, okay, this anger is directed toward these Wahhabis. That's fine. Let them do that. I'm not going to support my fellow Muslims in Islam.
Christmas.
So she goes on to this website and she says
Now
the
he's doubt
scholar
about
sitting
Christmas.
5,000 miles away in a land
Christmas.
very far from Finland has said that it is sinful for a convert to go to her family or his family,
Obviously.
whatever, on the day of Christmas
Obviously.
because it is a pagan festival.
Yes.
Those fatwa that you're referencing in those websites with the respect that they deserve.
Talking about Saudi Arabia.
They don't understand.
They don't understand
what
because they're living in
exactly
Saudi Arabia. Are you stupid? The Sahabas.
Family gathering at Christmas is.
And our Ustad are living in USA and UK. Our Ustad are living in US and UK, and these people are living in US and UK. The only difference is they are pro-voting. We are not pro-voting. They're doing intermixing. We are not doing intermixing. They're calling to liberalism. We're not calling to liberalism. We live in USA and UK as well.
Civilization. They are living in a very different world than the ones we inhabit.
No, thank you. We live in USA.
So their understanding is skewed.
You are skewed.
We all know that a family gathering together on the day of Christmas or the night of Christmas Eve, and they come together, is more of a family event. Generally speaking, there's zero religion. Your participation
I'm not going to feud him. He's going to feud himself.
in the family festival does not constitute worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is no hint of servitude to other than Allah in a generic festival of this nature. Somebody 5,000 miles away says, oh, it is haram for you to go. No, it is not haram for you to go. Not at all. You are not celebrating Christmas. Because many of our young children, they ask us, why don't we celebrate Christmas?
And people take these people's rulings. Who are they? Who are they?
And to this we respond, we as Muslims, we do not celebrate the holy days of other religions, because by celebrating those holy days, it's as if we are celebrating the concept behind the holy day. And for many Christians, the 25th
That's
of
why we had a video of him before and after.
Of the birth of
You do the judging.
called the Son of God. And we don't
You do the
believe God
judging.
has a son. To say that Allah has a child cannot come from the intellect.
Thank you.
It cannot come
The
from
creator
knowledge.
cannot have
It cannot
a child.
come from a book.
So he's not a creator. He also might have a parent then. كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا حول.
Not true, it is a lie.
Lie.
And to
أفواه.
lie about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is of the greatest crimes. Anyone who says Allah has a child or children or daughters or sons,
لا حول
this
ولا
is
قوة.
not
لم
true.
يلد ولم
All
يولد.
monstrosity comes from
Yes,
their mouths.
they
And we
shut.
despise
And now he's
falsehood.
pro-Christmas.
We despise lies. It
So,
is ingrained in us.
This
And
is to show you
feeling comes
that
from
almost in every aqaid he has sold out. How he was before, how he is now. This is money speaking. Money talks. You don't think money talk. Money talk. Money walk, money talk.
He put it in us. So if we were to celebrate that day,
Liberalism
it's
got
as
washed,
if
got
we
walked,
too are
got
saying,
woke.
oh, we
Let's
believe
be
that
woke.
God has a son. And we don't believe that God has a son. So we say to them
Woke
that
Muslims.
we are not going to celebrate
Title
on this day.
of this live, Woke Muslims.
Second issue that I want all of us to think about is we need to differentiate between slogans and actual solutions.
Acha.
This is the second point.
The slogan is the solution.
Differentiate between
Quran,
slogans
Sunnah,
and
Sahaba,
solutions.
Sahaba,
All too often,
Tabain, Tabain.
we fall prey to beautiful slogans.
Slogans.
And many times they're legitimate and true,
Oh.
but they are useless in providing
What the?
actual
La
solutions.
hawla wa la quwwata illa
So, for
billah.
example,
Return
we have
to-
all heard many of these slogans.
Return to
Islam
the-
is the answer.
Islam is the
We
answer.
must return to the Quran and Sunnah.
Look at this.
Or there are groups that say we must return to the example of the Salaf or the
Yes.
righteous predecessors.
Yes.
And again, it's a good slogan.
Yes, whatever has rectified.
Truth. We follow the Sahaba.
Bro,
We
y'all
respect
be
the
joking
Sahaba.
with your deen.
We respect the students of the Sahaba. But tell me, how did those early
tell
generations
you.
mobilize against the Islamophobic media? How did
Shut
they
up.
challenge their politicians in parliament when their parliament was going to pass anti-terrorism legislation that would actually ban and criminalize religiosity?
He's just using his doubts
You're
to
not
spread
going to find
falsehood.
anything like that because it didn't happen to them. Didn't happen to them. So when you
They
tell
were
me
prosecuted.
to go back to the past, okay, I agree, we should respect the past, but it doesn't give me what? What does it give me? A solution. Well, again, let us look at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Imam Malik said, may Allah have mercy on him, said, whoever introduces into Islam an innovation and holds it to be something good, and indeed alleged that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has betrayed the message.
Is a role model, what that means is, let's study what he did. Let's examine his life and times. If he truly is a role model, well then, me and you, we all need to be studying his life, seeing what he did to battle that Islamophobia, seeing what he did to battle that Islamophobia. In fact, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the very first subject, the very first person who was attacked by what we now call Islamophobia, who was attacked. Seeing what he did, that means is, Allah tells him
We're
to
almost
do.
done.
Because brothers
2
and
minutes.
sisters realize a solution. Well,
solution, we'll give you
again, let
solution.
us look at the Prophet
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
and let us look at what Allah tells him to do. Because, brothers and sisters, realize that when we say the Prophet is a role model, what that means is let's study what he did. Let's examine his life and times. If he truly is a role model, well then, me and you, we all need to be studying his life, seeing what he did
Contradicting
to battle that
Yasir
Islamophobia,
Qadhi.
Seeing what he did to
Split
battle that
personality
Islamophobia.
disorder.
In fact, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam
He's an
was
agent.
the very first
Agents
subject,
of the Jews.
the very first person
He's the agent
who
of
was
the Jews.
attacked by what we now call
Not us.
Islamophobia, who was attacked by what we now call Islamophobia. Our Prophet Muhammad society, the Quraysh of Mecca, was the first society that was willing to go against their own principles and to contradict everything they believed in merely because they hated this man and his message.
Ooh, subhanallah. Subhanallah. Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman radiallahu anhu said, Sahaba, if one of you wishes to know if he has been afflicted by fitna, trials and tribulations, let him look if he now views something to be halal, which he once believed was haram, and you say, ikhtilaf, 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 ikhtilaf. If so, he has been afflicted by fitna, and if he now views something to be haram, which he once believed was halal, then he has been afflicted by it, the fitna. Narrated by Al-Hakim in his Mustadrak, number 8443. Subhanallah. Now we're going to do some foolery, you know, because this was not even our ustad or scholar that exposed him. Not. This was just Yasir Qadhi refutes Yasir Qadhi. Nothing to do with our ustad or scholars. And now I'm going to do some entertainment. You know, I'll show you another juhal, you know, but don't take these people to be scholars. You know, but I'll show you our ustad website, proper refutation. His triad against Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab and some of his scholars, his praise for Ahl al-Bidah, revilement of Ahl al-Sunnah, inciting against the Muslim rulers and other innovations. Yasir Qadhi, his allegiance to Ahl al-Bidah, his revilement of Ahl al-Sunnah, his doubts about Islam, his venom towards the ruler, his belittlement of the Sunnah, his attacks upon the Sunnah, his hatred of the manhaj of the Salaf. Yasir Qadhi's futile tirade against an Imam of the Sunnah, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, Bishak. The Aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah man-made, his doubts about Islam after studying theology with non-Muslims. Yasir Qadhi's innovation doubts and about Islam and his attack upon Ahl Sunnah and the Salafi Aqeedah. So they attack pure Islam. Who are they going to attack? Are they going to attack Sufis and Shias? No, they attack pure Islam. There are profound differences between the two of them. The most important one is Ibn Taymiyyah did not make takfir of his opponents that did the same things that the opponents of Ibn Abdul Wahhab did. We never made takfir, and he made takfir of them and made it permissible the spilling of the blood. Not at all. You will see today. This is the biggest doubt spread by these Ahl al-Bidah. Qadhi says less than a minute. To be the only Muslim in the world, this is the level of fanaticism, takfir. Yes, we're not the only Muslims in the world, you juhal. You know, there's Ahl al-Bidah, there's Shia, there's Sufi. There's a IKHWANI. I simply cannot tolerate. Oh, you cannot tolerate this. To consider the entire ummah to be kafir. No one does this. Stupid. Even you are Muslim, you jahil. Even Shia is Muslim. Even Sufi is Muslim, you jahil. We're not saying they're kafir. We're saying they're misguided by doing bid'ah and shirk. And people like you. My heart has nothing to do. So now, Ashari or Matrudi, Tablighi. So here in the video, he was speaking against them himself. We're not making takfir of Asharis, we're showing the reality. You know? So his revilements, if we do not make takfir upon the one who worships the shrine or so the grave of Abdul Qadir Jilani, or the shrine or the Ahmad al-Badawi and their likes due to their ignorance and in the absence of someone who can inform them, subhanallah. Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, indeed Allah knows that this man has fabricated lies against me. Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab said this himself in the books. Indeed, Allah knows that this man has fabricated lies against me by ascribing to me what I never said, and most of which has never been occurred to me. From them is the claim that I invalidate the books of the four madhabs, and I say that the people, the ummah, has been upon nothing, no Islam for 600 years. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab didn't say this. He's telling you he did not say this himself. We have proof of this statement in our books. Don't worry. And through the righteous ones. And I make takfir. He said that I don't make takfir. This is a lie upon me. And that I make takfir of the one who makes tawassul, seeks nearness to Allah through the righteous ones who has passed away. He's not making takfir upon them. You know, or and that I said that whoever swears by other than Allah is an unbeliever. My answer to all of this is, how free you are, O Allah, from all imperfections, the most perfect. Indeed, this is a great slander. The Imam is saying this is a great slander. The dalil will be given to you at point number 2. And then he said, great slander. And before this, there were those who slandered the Messenger ﷺ, claiming he had reviled Jesus, the son of Mary, subhanallah, and that he reviles the righteous. So their hearts resemble one another in the fabrication of lies and bearing false witness. So these are the clear words of Shaykhul Islam of his time, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. May Allah have mercy upon him. Ameen. And may Allah have punishment upon the people of Yasir Qadhi and his supporters, with a punishment that they never saw, by guiding them to the truth, by making their children and their wives and them Ahl Sunnah Salafiyah as well. Ameen. We don't want harm for them. Even Shia Sufi, may Allah give them the punishment by guiding them to Quran wa Sunnah. That whoever they used to speak against, today they speak for it. Ameen. Make their hearts like this. We don't want our enemies to be destroyed. Nah. Ya Allah, don't destroy the Shia Sufiya. Guide them to Ahl Sunnah. The kuffar, the atheist, the Jew, the Christian, guide them to true Islam. You cannot harm us by your claims. Our scholars and imams said we never made takfir. And they're taking an oath upon the biggest oath you can. He's saying, I never done such. This is a lie upon me. So Yasir Qadhi and these mere IKHWANI puppets, it's not just Shia Sufiya. That's it. Shia Sufi. And you think like Ahl Sunnah is, in the between. No. Ahl Sunnah speak against all of these sects. So Yasir Qadhi is praising Ahl al-Bidah, calling us some other names. Now they're claiming that we are Madkhalis. Something else. They just called us Madkhali now. Him and Muhammad Hijab. That's why I'm going to expose Muhammad Hijab and Yasir Qadhi at the same time. I already exposed Muhammad Hijab. Shamsi exposed him. I just posted his video. And whoever compliments them and praises them is a caller to them. He invites to them. The one is from their callers. And we ask Allah for well-being. And we ask Allah to expose and destroy these callers who are calling to these kind of people. Guide them or destroy them. This is our dua. Ameen. Enough with these stuff now. Whoever praises Ahl al-Bidah, invites Ahl al-Bidah, invites towards Ahl al-Bidah, and in gatherings mentions Ahl al-Bidah in good words, and invites you towards Ahl al-Bidah Quran, Ahl al-Bidah scholars, Ahl al-Bidah ideology, then he is Ahl al-Bidah and from them. Is this rocket science? If you see a man praising the people of evil, and the scholars of misguidance, such as those offshoots of the Jahmiya, whatever, Ikhwaniya, Sufiya, Viralvideo, Deobandiya, whatever, Shia, Sufiya, then know that he is a sinner, fasik, a corrupt and misguided person. This is because he would never praise such people except due to his love for them and his approving and tolerating their path. If you see a man praising Ahl Sunnah, such as Imam Ahmad, Rahimullah Ta'ala, Ibn al-Mubarak, Rahimullah Ta'ala, and likewise praising the scholars of the Tabi'een and those who came after them, then know that he's a person of goodness. This is because he would not praise Ahl Sunnah except due to his love of the Sunnah and holding fast to it. So this is a lesson for us, so that some brothers and students of knowledge praise some of the innovators, people of desires and those who have deviated ideologies. So the students fail to look towards their ideologies and orientations, and thus falls into attacking the people of goodness and belittling them. And the people of goodness are warning against the evil. This is because he listens to them, Ahl al-Bidah, criticizing the people of good, and he believes them. So this is a great danger, that he belittles the people of goodness, belittles the actual scholars and Ahl Sunnah, while he praises the deviated ideologies and orientations. This is a great danger, making you support falsehood. And this is even if he does not sit with the innovator himself. So this is what Imam Barbahari warns us from, this affair into which many of the people of our times have fallen into. Ittihaf al-Qari 2236. The Messenger ﷺ said, warned against the people of innovation from befriending, supporting, or taking from them. Whoever innovates or accommodates an innovator, then upon him is the curse of Allah, his angels, and the whole of mankind. So if you go to a function of Ahl al-Bidah and their conference and stuff, you have accommodated the Ahl al-Bidah. and upon you is the curse of Allah, His angels, and the whole of mankind. So repent. It's not us that are cursing you, it's the whole of mankind and the curse of angels and Allah. So repent. So we seek repentance. Stop going to Ahl al-Bidah conference. Stop going to these events where there's Ahl al-Bidah speakers. Yahya ibn Kathir said, do not pass judgment over anyone with anything until you see whom he befriends. Al-Ibn 2264. You gotta see who he befriends. Another Ahl al-Bidah, another Sufiya, another Ikhwaniya, another liberal. And whoever invites people to misguidance shall have to carry the burden of its sin, just like the one who perpetrated it without their sins being diminished in any respect. Sahih Muslim 2674. Is this fair? Let's speak haqq. So this is a clear proof showing the forbiddance of sitting with the people of falsehood. Ahl al-Batil, of every persuasion, regardless of whether it be the innovation of Mubtadi'a or the open sinners, whilst they continue to speak with their falsehood. Do not sit with the people of desires, Ahl al-Hawa, for their gatherings are the cause of sickness in their hearts, One of the distinguishing signs of Ahl Sunnah is their love of the Imams of Sunnah, as scholars, as helpers, as allies, and likewise their hatred for the Imams of Bidah. We hate the Imams of Bidah, those who invite to the hellfire. So you're gonna think we're gonna stay silent when Imams of Bidah are mentioned? We're gonna call them Ahl al-Bidah openly and silently. Don't worry, and expose them. In public and in private, we will expose them. Don't worry. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah are the Salaf in their belief, even the ones who come later until the day of resurrection. It is if he is upon the path of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, then he is a Salafi. Very easy. You don't have to call yourself anything. What is your advice for the person who forbids others from listening to the tapes of Shaykh Rabi ibn Hadi al-Madkhali, that he spreads fitna? No. Whoever says this is a jahil. He praises the rulers of the kingdom. So Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen said, our opinion is that this person is wrong and greatly mistaken. Obviously, Shaykh Rabi is from the scholars of the Sunnah and from the people of goodness. His aqidah is sound and correct, hifzullah, and his manhaj is straight and proper. However, when he speaks against some of the figureheads of some of the people, from those who have appeared lately, they try to discredit him with these accusations. Good. Lifting the lid on those who speak about Ibn Uthaymeen and his stance towards Salafiyah and the Salafis. Nonetheless, and whoever invites the people to misguidance shall have to carry the burden of it. Sahih Muslim number 2674. Nonetheless, one more. Think about it. Think about it, okay? Do some research. Think about it. Think very, 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 very deeply, okay? And contemplate. And take an inventory check, okay? Thank you. Jazakallah khair, barakallah fikum, ameen. Live out. Actually, we will do something else fun, okay? But this was all knowledge-based, did not call these people dogs and cats and this, that, but did call them Ahl al-Bidah, because upon them is the curse of Allah. Whoever innovates or accommodates an innovator. Do not pass judgment over anyone with anything until you see whom he befriends. Another Sufi, another Ashari Maturidi, but disguising themselves as Hanafi. Jokers. And when you see those who engage in a false, I'm here, don't worry, engage in a false conversation regarding our verses by mocking at them, stay away from them. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The clear proof showing the forbiddance of sitting with the people of falsehood, Ahl al-Batil, of every persuasion, regardless of whether it to be the innovator Mubtadi'a or the open sinners, while they continue to speak with their falsehood. So people like YASIR QADHI is the biggest imams of falsehood. Likewise, we hate their imams. One of the distinguishing signs of Ahl Sunnah is their love. Abu Usman Ismail As-Sabuni rahimullah, he died in 449 Hijri, said this: one of the distinguishing signs of Ahl Sunnah is their love of the imams of the Sunnah, its scholars, its helpers, and its allies, and likewise their hatred for the imams of Bidah, those who invite to the hellfire. This is your imam of Bidah. We hate him. We hate him. We publicly expose him. Which one? Which one? Which is your imam? Ya Hanafi Juhals. The misguided caller to hellfire. 11 minutes of this Juhal exposed. Insulting Umar ibn Khattab, the preservation of the Quran. Just spreading doubts. You're spreading doubts. He's just an American stooge. Look at this.
The second opinion, which is now the opinion that I follow,
Asim
is
al-Hakim
the
is
opinion
not even
that
Salafi.
invoking the saints, it is haram,
Astaghfirullah.
and it is evil,
Oh my Lord.
and it is
This
an
is
evil innovation,
epic
a
masjid
religious
brainwash,
innovation, a
especially.
bid'ah, and it is a stepping stone to shirk. It is opening the doors to shirk, but it is not shirk in and of itself.
Worship, not invoking, is considered to be shirk on the Day of Judgment. And
that you are deifying that entity that you are calling.
so invoking is considered to be shirk on the Day of Judgment. And
I'm going to show his reality
after.
after.
Invoking, making dua is worship. Not
So I
a
want you
form
to
of worship.
see,
No,
there's
is
levels.
worship. This is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ.
Some people watch him,
Do not
but not
take
the other.
knowledge
Same thing.
from the likes of me
Good.
or the likes of him.
Good.
Take knowledge from real scholars.
Good. Thank you.
This
Thank you, Asim al-Hakim.
quote unquote renowned scholar. He's a da'i. He does not qualify to be a scholar. He's a student of knowledge.
No. Sheikh.
Brother Nawaz from India.
He's
He
answering
emails
questions.
a very lengthy question describing certain issues that are going on in his area, in his district. But in particular, there's a question that is of very relevance to us. And he mentions that in his particular town, the majority of people follow a interpretation of Islam in which they are encouraged to visit the graves and to invoke the saints for their needs. And he is saying that recently he has come across a new, scholar, he has not heard of this, new group, and he mentions it by name, and he has benefited from this group and online and whatnot.
Safiya.
And this new group is saying that the practices of his culture and of his people are actually shirk.
Yes.
And that anybody who does these types of practices of invoking the saints is in fact committing shirk. So now he is emailing me asking that he has heard a number of my lectures, and now what does he do, because his family and his entire society is involved in these rulings. But today's topic is to call out and say, Ya Ali Madad, Ya Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, Ya Rasul Allah, give me this, do that, prevent this. So this answer today is about a very clear-cut scenario, and that is to call out to other than Allah and to ask something from the being that you are calling out, and to ask something of this world or even of the next life, like something that you ask him and you expect your request to be responded to. Now, with regards to this question, academically speaking, just purely academically speaking, there are three primary opinions that are found within scholarly groups of ulama, and they all claim that they are Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. The second opinion, which is now the opinion that I follow, the Sunnah primary opinions amongst groups of ulama, and they all claim that they are Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. The second opinion, which is now the opinion that I follow, the second opinion is the opinion that invoking the saints is innovation, a religious innovation, a bid'ah, and it is a stepping stone shirk in and of itself, unless that action is accompanied by a belief that you're calling out to a God. It is accompanied by calling.
No one believes that Ali is God.
Opinion 2 says that the action is evil and haram and bid'ah and munkar and a stepping stone to shirk, but it is not necessarily shirk in aqidah or belief. Belief is, and it is something we warn against. But in and of itself, it is not going to be shirk unless the person doing the position of the majority.
So this is why he's refuted for spreading these doubts.
What is the ruling on that for such shirk? Be prohibited haram, but it is not shirk. Unless the person who's asking for such intercession has the intention to call them as gods. So, what is the ruling on that? First of all, do not take knowledge from the likes of me or the likes of him. Take knowledge from real scholars. This not qualify to be famous because Allah has We are fortunate to be famous because Allah has blessed us with this gift, and after that with the media. Had it not been to Peace TV, Huda TV, Zat TV, no. When you want to take knowledge, proper knowledge, especially when it comes to Aqidah, people who keep on switching in the books of the Salaf. They reported that Imam Malik ibn Anas was approached by a man of the people of innovation. So he said, stop, Imam, let me debate with you. So Imam Malik had some time on his free time. So he said, okay, then what?
Free time.
So the man says, if I beat you in my argument, in debate, you follow me. And if I don't beat you and you beat me, I follow you. Is that? So Imam Malik says, okay, let's assume I followed you and you beated me. Then we both met someone. We is one. This is not Islam. So those who adopt for most of their life a particular opinion, then they change to a second opinion. We'll give them some time and they will change to a third opinion.
Yeah, I'm on the same.
Are these people worthy of being followed? Now,
like YASIR
Mahwish says that it's permissible. I doubt he says it's permissible. I would suggest or presume that he said it is not shirk, but it is prohibited. Because if he says that it is permissible, then he would have gone to the dark side, which is the super Sufis who believe and worship truly the graved people.
The super Sufis?
But he thinks that it's a sinful thing, but it's not shirk. And why would someone say that? Nowadays, we are in an era where people compromise their religion. So in order to gather as many people around us and to gather as many followers, being a tolerant person, advocating of tolerance, being okay with all strands of the society, they compromise their own religion. So they try to walk a very thin line. And they say we cannot label people as mushrik because there's so many of them.
Not mine.
Well, Allah Azza wa Jalla labeled
your
them in the Quran.
Not mine.
When he said, وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ
Even he
بِاللَّهِ
exposed them.
إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. The vast majority of them, of the people, the inhabitants of earth, would not believe in Allah except while committing shirk. What is their belief in Allah Azza wa Jal? It's the same belief of the pagans and the idol worshippers. Are you serious? Yeah. The pagans and the idol worshippers
It's not my
used to
sheikh.
believe.
It's not my sheikh.
Used to believe that Allah is the provider, that Allah is the giver of life and death, that Allah is the creator, that Allah is the facilitator of their affairs.
Even they believe this.
All over the Quran. If you read the Quran,
The pagans
don't
believe that
look
in the
to
Quran.
Scholar so and so differed with scholar so and so. Go to the sources.
Good,
the
thank you.
Quran says to us in black and white that pagans and idol worshippers believed in Allah.
Yeah, they believed in
This
God,
is
obviously.
their belief, but they associated others
Others with him.
through invoking
Others.
them.
Thank you.
And nowhere in the Quran, if you read it from cover to cover, that you will find a distinction or segregation between when you make dua to someone who's dead, thinking that he's capable or not capable of your intention. Dua is dua.
Dua is dua. Oh, thank you.
Allah says in many places
No one says Ali is God.
they invoke others than Allah. He did not call them gods.
He did not call them
these
gods.
ayahs.
Because obviously Allah knows.
Allah says clearly that they
invoke
invoke other than Allah, and they don't have any benefit for them or can protect them from any evil. And on the day of judgment, they will
Testify against them.
distance themselves from their shirk. So invoking is considered to be shirk on the day of judgment.
Thank
And
you.
this is what the Prophet said,
Sallallahu
Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah.
Dua is ibadah.
Invoking,
Is
making
worship.
dua is worship. Not a form of worship. No,
It
is
is
worship. This is the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So if you go to the disbelievers,
I'll show you
to the idol
the two
worshippers
sides right
at the
now.
time of the Prophet ﷺ, none of them would say to you that I am worshiping this idol because I believe that it creates, it gives life and
no one
takes
says that.
it. I believe it will increase my affairs. I believe rain comes through it.
No one
Nobody
believes
says
that.
this.
Nobody says this.
They know that only Allah does this. And this is
Obviously.
Tawheed al-Rububiyyah.
Tawheed al-Rububiyyah.
So for this so-called quote-unquote scholar to come and claim that when I go to Tijani or Jilani or Sidna al-Badawi or to al-Hussein or to the Prophet himself, and I make dua to them that I don't believe in them to be gods, this is exactly what the idol worshippers used to do. Allah says in the beginning of Surah Zumar that we do not worship them except so that they would get us closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Why are you calling Al-Hussein to help you? Because
I think chapter
he
47.
can call Allah Azza wa Jal.
So why don't you call Allah?
So this is the identical shirk that the idol worshippers used to do.
In Mecca, yes.
And if you say, no, Sheikh, you are judging their intention.
Man, screw your intention, excuse me.
Why is this person invoking Al-Hussein or Al-Tijani or Al-Jilani or Al-Badawi?
Excuse me?
The great. Why are they going to Dargah and sacrificing to them and lighting lights and candles? Why are they making tawaf? Why are they asking them?
Oh, hit him
Isn't
hard.
this worshipping them?
He's not my sheikh. He even said himself, I'm not a scholar. Don't take knowledge from me. He said this.
This is why I say, do not, and I repeat, do not take knowledge from such people.
Thank you.
These people who keep on changing their colors according to the highest bidder.
Bidder.
So
Highest bidder. That is true. That is true. Asim al-Hakim, I'm sorry, but you know, highest bidder. Highest bidder is Islam purely.
any consensus among the scholars in regards of khuruj, and khuruj is to rebel and go against the Muslim ruler. So is there any ijma? The answer is no. Like most issues, there is no consensus among scholars. There would always be
وتحريم الخروج على الحاكم المسلم الظالم من المسائل الخلافية. لا، ليست من المسائل الخلافية، هذا كذب.
It's a lie.
بل هي إجماع.
There's an ijma, consensus on this.
ولو كان ظالما ما دام أنه لم يخرج من الدين.
As long as he doesn't exit the religion of Islam, he must be obeyed, except in sinning. You avoid what entails sinning.
وأما أنه يخرج عليه.
But as for rebelling against him because he's an oppressive, this is haram. You cannot rebel. Hear and obey the ruler even if he beats you back. It takes your wealth. Hear and obey. Because being violated in wealth or beaten is a lesser level of harm and chaos, lawlessness, loss of public security, and of the Muslim community, killing, shirk. So nonetheless, some stuff, these fruitcakes are refuted with, such as
we will go through on the website for you to download. Was written by a renowned scholar, Sheikh Abdul Aziz al-Tarifi.
Yeah, Khariji. So I wanted to expose Kharijis and liberals in the same video. So we already did liberals, now we're doing Kharijis. The Kharijis also refuted your Yasir Qadhi. So do many other Ahl al-Bidah, even exposed him. It's not just us exposing them.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
كيف حالك شيخ صالح؟ عساك طيب؟
نعم.
الله يعافيك يا شيخ. عندي سؤال الله يحفظك إن تسمح لي.
تفضل. نعم.
الله يبارك فيك يا شيخ. يا شيخ الله يبارك فيك. هنالك يا شيخ بعض الشباب يا شيخ يطعنون في ولاة الأمر ويقولون أن ولاة الأمر سجنوا العلماء والصالحين. يقصدون بالعلماء عبد العزيز الطريفي
خارجي
سليمان العلوان وخالد
خارجي
اتركهم لا تدخل معهم ولا تجلس معهم واتركهم.
أنا لا أنصح إخواني المسلمين أن يستفيدوا مما كتبه أو ألقاه عبد العزيز الطريفي، لأنه قد تبين أنه صاحب هوى ويغير أقواله بحسب هوى الحزب. فأنا لا أنصح أن يستفاد مما يكتبه أهل الأهواء، لأنه غير موثوق بدينهم فيغيرون ويبدلون بحسب أهوائهم.
Not right now. Not right now. I don't want to do all of these in one video. The famous ones.
والمبتدع تجب مناصحته.
The mubtadi must be advised.
تجب
He must be
مناصحته
advised and be
ودعوته
called to
إلى
Allah.
الله
He
تخويفه
must be made to
بالله.
fear Allah.
وإذا كان عليه التباس أو اشتباه يبين له الحق. إذا كان ما ظهر له شيء يبين له الحق وتقام عليه الأدلة، فإن أصر بعد ذلك فإنه يكون مبتدعا. يجب هجره والتحذير منه والابتعاد عنه، وكل من وافق على بدعته وصار تابعا له ولم ينتصح ولم يتركه فإنه يهجر مثله، لأن من وافق المبتدع ورضي ببدعته فهو مبتدع مثله فيهجر كما يهجر المبتدع.
As the mubtadi is abandoned. We do the same. We do the same treatment for every Ahl al-Bid'ah, not just one. Good, good. So, right here, he's claiming his scholars again. Same celebrity scholars. One he says is Muhammad al-Dudu, which is a Matarudi, and Aziz al-Turifi, same thing. Another Khariji, Ashari, Matarudi. Right here, sorry, it's at the end. Abdul Aziz al-Tarifi, Manhaj of the Kharij, in openly rebuking the Muslim rulers, refuted by Sheikh al-Fawzan and bin Baz. You know, note the IKHWANI, the Haytham al-Haddad, based in London also. And it seems the pharaohs of Egypt will never come to an end. Or they say stuff like this in Pakistan. Ke yahan pe khuda bane hue hain zameen pe. On the earth there are khuda. Khuda is not even the name of Allah. Khuda was a Persian fake man who was a god. You know, fake winged man. You know who they call God. Khuda, Khuda. And people think that's Allah. And they actually say Khuda Hafiz or something. So nonetheless, Muhammad Hijab, when we did a video about him, why he got exposed is because he has a Sufi, Hamza Yusuf as his scholar, and Yusuf Qardawi, Sufi as his scholar, and people like Yasir Qadhi, you know. But he has issue with our scholars and Ustad, and they call us these names, and they follow Muhammad ad-Dudu. So he had to expose these clowns anyways, you know. An innovator called to unity between Sunnah, the Shia, and the grave-worshipping Sufis. He promotes demonstrations and uprising in Muslim lands, reviles Muslim rulers of Saudi Arabia, as well as the callers to Sunnah. And not just only Saudi Arabia, other countries as well, but their main target is Saudi Arabia. Salafi publication is upon the Sunnah, free of hijabs, jahl, and bid'ah. Perfect, exactly. And the Sufi grave-worshipper, translator, and chanter of the Burda of al-Busaydi, a poem that invites to shirk by seeking refuge, rescue, and deliverance with Allah's messenger. A negator and distorter of Allah's attributes, who once said this concern with Aqidah is a sickness in the minds of the Muslims. You know, what a lying people. Yasir Qadhi and him is the same thing. So I had to expose him anyways. IKHWANI, caller to uprising, rebelling, and demonstration in Muslim lands, a Sufi who glorifies the sheikhs of the grave-worshipping Tajani sect and reviles the Salafi scholars. Daddu is drowned in misguidance. Our sheikh said this. He's drowned in misguidance. Not even a little bit misguided, he's drowned in it. And right here he said, Wallahi, I believe that Yasir Qadhi is more knowledgeable. I could take out your Yasir Qadhi alone. Imam as-Sabuni, rahimahullah ta'ala, said, related from the Imams of the Sunnah, the following, and they hated Ahl al-Bidah, those who introduce into the religion that which is not from it. They would not love them, nor keep company with them. They would not listen to their speech, nor would they sit with them. They would not argue with them about religion, and they would not debate with them, and they held that the people should protect their hearing from listening to their falsehood. This falsehood, if it was to reach their hearing and settle in their hearts, it would ruin them and arouse whisperings and dangerous corruption. And regarding this, Allah the Mighty and Majestic revealed. And when you see those who engage in offensive discourse concerning our verses, then turn away from them until they enter into another conversation. Aqidatus Salaf Ashabul Hadith of As-Sabuni, you know. Imam Abu Hatim died in 264 Hijri. From the signs of Ahl al-Bidah is the reviling the people of narrations. The people of narrations. Atar, Ahl al-Atar. You know, the people of narrations, they would slander. We are Atari. You know. We are Ahl Sunnah, Ashabul Hadith, not Sufi like this. Muhammad Hijab, Hamza Yusuf, Yusuf Qardawi, Yasir Qadhi. These are IKHWANI callers, and they're all exposed. The IKHWANI callers who's calling for demonstration, protest, blah, 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 disguise themselves as lovers of Palestine, and people get fooled into everything they do. So easy to fool the Ummah. Just wave the Palestinian flag in front of them. Palestine, come. And they will come to whatever demonstration you go to, whatever thing you go to. Your women and men will be around other men intermixing, haram gathering. You know, this is the Sufi dangers. Haram gathering, intermixing. You know, tabarruj, the youth. Ahl al-Bidah, but hating Ahl al-Sunnah. Ahl al-Bidah, but hating Ahl al-Sunnah. Listening to either QADHI or liberals. And our scholars warned against both of these fruitcakes. Ashariz.com. Do not sit with the people of desires, Ahl al-Hawa, for the gatherings are the causes of sickness in their hearts. One of the distinguishing signs of Ahl al-Sunnah is their love for the Imams of Sunnah, its scholars, its helpers, and its allies. And likewise their hatred for the Imams of Bid'ah, those who invite to the hellfire. Ahl al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they are the Salaf in their belief, even the one who comes later, even me and you. But we have to be on the path of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his companions. Then he is a Salafi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So over and out. We are done with this. Let's get it. We'll start another live later on. We'll do the Quran. But let's stay on topic. You know, Yasir Qadhi was the topic of today. And अगर आपने देखना, ये देखें आप. Look, you don't gotta do anything. You just type this. You just type this. It goes here. You go to videos. Where is this? Go to Google. Right. Once. Epic Masjid. Voting. Right here. Epic Masjid voting. You will see your liberalism.
We see so many issues around us that we really feel passionate about. The economy, the job situation,
foreign policy,
healthcare, foreign policy, the COVID crisis, the situation of our schools,
foreign policy. Yes,
Sufi, Ahl al-Bidah, Ikhwani, Ahl al-Bidah,
our life.
Ikhwani,
Living in a democracy means that our
Ahl
politicians are supposed to serve us, each and
liberalism,
every one of us.
liberalism, liberals,
That includes
Sufi,
me.
Ahl al-Bidah, Ikhwani,
And
Ahl al-Bidah, Ahl al-Bidah,
me.
Sufi,
Well, when I
Ikhwani,
turn 18,
So,
Ahl
do
al-Bidah,
your research.
Ikhwani,
find the
Ahl al-Bidah,
candidates that best serve our interests. Because that's
Sufi,
what democracy
Ahl al-Bidah, democratic, liberal,
is about.
And then
shaitans,
make
and the leader of the liberals, Yasir Qadhi, P. Diddy.
sure your voice is heard and go out and vote.
And what their followers say, there's ikhtilaf on the voting. Look at these juhals. Look at these jahils. Look at these jahils. This is why we expose them. You know, this is why we expose them. And people think like we have some issues. This is why we expose them. This is why we expose them. Personal koi nahi hai. There's nothing personal. No, this is why we expose them. That's crazy that they have brainwashed the ummah so much.
As for the issue of voting, is it permissible for Muslims living in non-Muslim lands to vote? Then actually, the scholars have answered this question. Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz, Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen, likewise some of the other scholars from them in our time, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, and also Sheikh Ubaid bin Abdullah al-Jabari. And actually, there is not one answer that fits all.
Yeah, of course.
Each
Of course. We
situation
know this.
requires its particular ruling.
You don't go in and
Of course, every
just
single alim from Ahlul Sunnah, Ahlul Hadith has agreed upon the fact that the ideology of democracy
yes.
is something that is completely alien to Islam and foreign to Islam, and it is an ideology of deviation and misguidance. Why? Because it is not guided by revelation. It is guided by people, with the ideas of the people, man-made laws. So they decide what is halal, they decide what is haram, they decide what is allowed and what is not allowed. And that's why all types of problems and deviations and perversions enter into society. Why? Because it is the rule of the masses.
I don't vote.
Made by the masses, for the masses. It's the rule of the people, by the people, for the people. So where is Allah in all of this? Because it is godless. There is no sense of, any divine law or Sharia.
Even your Islam QA. This is not ours. This is not ours.
So they can decide whatever they want as long as the people support it in their masses through either supporting a party in its manifesto that wrote it in. For example, that we're going to allow a certain type of marriage between certain types of people. Whether it be, tomorrow they say, well, we hold that it is okay for a mother to marry her own son, for example, because we don't see any moral objection to that, then it becomes law.
It becomes law, like LGBTQ.
It will become law because that's how it works. I'm not saying they will make it law tomorrow or the day after or years to come, but that is a viable position because worse things than that have been made legal, right? Or at least things of equivalence have been made
lawful. Is neither good nor evil, but they follow everyone who makes noise. So we have no choice but to choose those who think we are fit. If someone were to say we choose someone, then most of the parliament are not like that. We say it does not matter. If Allah blesses this one person and enables him to speak the truth in his parliament, you have an effect. But what you need is to be sincere towards Allah. And the problem is that we rely too much on physical means.
To prevent a greater evil.
To present a greater evil. Not like this. Come to voting in our masjid, this, that, liberalism. So these people using this as an excuse. It's not permissible for Muslims to nominate.
In certain situations, to avoid a greater evil, that the situation should be presented to the alim,
presented to an alim, not
by the people who are experts in the field, and you are not, believe it or not.
And no one said to do voting in US or UK. We have scholars that did not give us permission to vote in US or UK.
Because you can become an expert just by watching 1 hour debate and you think you know it all.
Watching YASIR QADHI
this affair is great.
And doing
why?
Voting.
Because it involves
guilty of kufr system.
The parties coming in and parties being removed, laws being introduced and laws being altered. And many of these are man-made laws. So who decides, number one, who to vote for?
Exactly. Who do you decide who to vote for?
For the lesser evil to avoid the greater evil. And what in reality is a lesser evil. Because what you perceive to be a lesser evil may not be the lesser evil. It may actually be a greater evil as far as Islam is concerned. And this happened. When Salman al-Awda and Safar al-Hawali, that in the, I think it was about 15 or 20 years ago in America, that they gave a fatwa to vote for a particular party in the elections. And they got all of their followers in America to vote. And within a year or 2 years, the Muslim lands were being invaded by the same leader that they put into power. Why? Because this affair actually requires thought. And it requires an alim.
Not people like
So
YASIR
therefore,
QADHI.
without me giving you an answer, I would say that stick to the general principle.
Yes.
فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you do not know.
Yeah, not YASIR QADHI.
So therefore, it is even if an alim allows a particular voting in a particular place, it is only to avert a greater evil.
Avert a greater evil.
From the Muslims, so a lesser evil is there, so it will be less harmful to the Muslims. Because all of it is harmful. All of it is harmful to us. Because none of these people are, in essence, going to support, the Islam and the objectives of Islam and the morality of Islam and the ethics of Islam.
No.
They are not supported. They don't even support the ethics of Christianity and the morality of Christianity. So how much more ba'id is Islam from that?
That's our sheikhs.
They don't care what the Jews say. In terms of certain things that are morally reprehensible to the Jews, they don't accept it. What's morally reprehensible to the Catholics and the Protestants, they don't accept it, or the Church of England. Why? Because ultimately they're going to do what the masses want. And masses, eventually, if you open up the doors to fasad and corruption and depravity and debauchery, that you can do whatever you want, then what are the people going to do? If you remove morality from them, and if you remove this connection to Allah and the creator of the heavens and the earth from them, and you tell them this life is, this is the be-all and the end-all, so what they're going to want to do? They're going to want to do more and more. They want more and more allowance to feed their desires and to feed their lusts and to feed their passions. Right? So sleeping around in this country is not illegal. Having multiple partners,
being
sleeping with a different woman
LGBT.
every night, or a woman sleeping with a different man every night is not illegal in this country. A man
Same
sleeping
thing.
with 10 different men in 1 week is not illegal.
So you are voting for this Kufrana Nizam.
Taking of certain types
Assalamu
of
alaikum
intoxicants
warahmatullahi.
like alcohol
It's not haram.
and marijuana.
And this is what you vote for. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Barakallahu fikum, ameen.